The interviewer was German, I'm American. He told me at the end that I was adequate. I thought it was a criticism, but I got the job and later learned that adequate is high praise from a German. I once went on a job interview where the guy asked, if you were a fruit, how would you solve problems? What? I sat in on an interview that was awkward on both sides. The woman had indicated on her application that she'd had a misdemeanor. My boss asked about it, and she said that she had gotten a dull charge a few years back in college. That wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, depending on the circumstances. So he asked her a few follow-up questions, how it happened, how much she'd been drinking, and if she still drank, etc. I think she eventually figured screw it. She then gave us all the dirty details about how she had walked in on her boyfriend and her sister having sex. That led to her losing it in a bar downtown and the eventual dull charge. I spent a lot of time pretending to be interested in reading her cover sheet while she talked. And no, we didn't call her back. Interviewer, what are you doing after this interview? No, I don't think he was looking for a friend. I think he honestly thought it was a deep, legit question that would reveal something serious about my character. I thought he was an idiot. We had a fun night having a personal date, and then we pull up to his house for his birthday party where I'm about to meet his family for the first time. He turns to me and says, "Oh, BTW, my parents don't like Mexicans. I am Mexican." My husband broke my thumb one night when we were slightly tipsy. Horseplay got too rough, and I think drunk memory, he slammed my hand against something. We both heard the pop, and I went to tears. Interviewed at a small company looking to make a specialized sensor. They had a competitor making what they wanted and had hired someone from that company who brought the embedded code for the design with him, but that person was not the designer, so they didn't know how it all worked. They needed someone to reverse engineer it and make an exact copy so they could produce it. I told them I wasn't interested in stealing tech from another company and alerted the other company to what had happened. So at one interview, I told them exactly how many months I planned on working there before quitting. I got the job anyway, still work there. Life is weird. Two coworkers and I once interviewed a woman who went off on massive tangents every single question. My coworker, you said you had negotiation training. Can you explain exactly what you received? Anwar, yes, I went to training for my current role. We got driven to the place by the rudest taxi driver I've ever met. He was eating some chips with toppings on it, like cheese, I think. Have you ever had American cheddar? It's to die for. We had to interrupt constantly to get back on track. I got a resume where under interests he listed defending my title as undisputed pillow fight champion of the Johnson home against the Fab Five, my wife and 4 kids. 2 of us thought it was insanely funny, but the third was getting angry. Finally, during one question, the lady started talking about a seal she had seen on the beach. The third coworker put up his hand and said, "For the love of God, stop." We then concluded the interview. She said, oblivious to how much she had bombed, "I look forward to hearing from you." My coworker responded, "Well, you really shouldn't. It was easily the best yet worst interview I have ever been a part of, and I think about that woman and her seal often." On an applicant's cover letter, I was dismissed January 7th this year as a school bus driver, have a medical condition, irritable bowel syndrome. An emergency forced me to leave high schoolers on a bus. A guy once applied for a network technician position. The only experience he listed was the online virtual world Second Life, or where you create an avatar for yourself and interact with online communities. He honestly thought that hundreds of hours in a virtual world was all the experience he needed with networking, and that he'd get whatever help he needed to set up and maintain our hardware through that community. Attempted to rekindle a relationship because we bumped into each other at a happy hour and had a fun conversation, and thought perhaps things ended prematurely. She was game for grabbing dinner and even suggested a good Italian place that she had been wanting to try. Done. Reservation booked. Time set. The day of our date arrived. We were supposed to meet there separately, but Mid-morning, she texted asking if she could get picked up. Sure, no problem. She texted again, this time asking if we could change the reservation time to an hour later in the evening. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Done. Another text. This time asking about possibly going to a different restaurant because one of her girlfriends suggested a better spot. I actually reserved a table at said better spot at the later time and everything. Oh, but then I found out that she didn't want the later time at the better spot. She wanted to go back to the original time. I forget exactly what my text message said at this point, but it was something along the line of, I'm sorry to do this, but I'm just not hungry anymore. Me. Tell me about a time you disagreed with someone and how you resolved that. Candidate. No one disagrees with me. I was the interviewee. It was my very first job interview at age 15 for a retail position. The interviewer asked me what my cash handling experience was. I did not understand what she meant, but guessed that she wanted to know if one was capable of literally holding money without dropping it or something. My response, well, I have a little cash myself and have handled that just fine. I didn't get the job. Our employees come from a wide range of cultures, so we always try to gauge how that would work out with candidates. At one interview, I said, tell me about a time when you had to overcome a conflict with someone who came from a different background. Candidate. Well, I'm white, so after a pause, I said, so what exactly? Him. So they got to pretty much get along with me. In my junior year of high school, this guy asked me on a date. He rented a Redbox movie and made a pizza. We were watching the movie and the oven beeped, so the pizza was done. He looked me dead in the eye and said, this is the worst part. I then watched this boy open the oven and pulled the pizza out with his bare hands, rack and all, screaming at the top of his lungs. We never had a second date. Whenever I send my husband to the store for bread, he rips off a chunk and eats it on the way home. He calls this his road loaf. Sometimes we are having people over for a nice dinner and he brings back a baguette that looks like he ripped it out of the baker's hand. He insists upon the bread tax. The other day we were walking home together and he pulled out the loaf and I said, put it back, we'll be home in 10 minutes. He scoffs and rips a chunk and immediately drops the whole thing onto the ground. My road loaf, he yells. Interviewee, if I got this position, would you be my boss? Me. Yes, I'm the general manager, so you would be answering to me, interviewee. Even though it's a supervisor position? Me. Correct. All supervisors answer to me, interviewee. Okay, but understand that I don't take orders from a woman, so you'd have to make an exception in my case. He then actually suggested that we not have anyone give him direction instead. Met at a coffee shop. Within 15 minutes, I was trying to figure out how long I had to stay to be polite. He believed he was an alien, told me about how he has died twice, even though he knew my ex abandoned my daughter. Proceeded to be proud about how passive-aggressive he was with his own kids, such as refusing to see them if they didn't want to do exactly what he wanted. Noped out of there after about 40 minutes, 39 minutes too long.